Hey everyone, it's Mike here. Today in my hot little hands, I've got the Korg Arp 2600 Mini. This is the latest reimagining of the seminal 1970s semi-modular analog synth. Now, this synth doesn't have an ARP or a sequencer, but today I'm going to show you an example of how you can get creative with the patch points to generate a rhythmic sequence in a bit of a techno style. So let's get to it. All right, let's do a quick overview and check out what we've got to work with. We've got 1, 2, 3 VCOs. We've got a low-pass filter with 2 types. We've got 2 envelopes. We've got a VCA, mixer, reverb, 2-way switch here. We've got a sample and hold circuit, and there's a clock that clocks the sample and hold and the switch. You've got 4 voltage processors with a couple of tricks up their sleeve, noise generator, preamp, ring modulator, envelope follower, and a sneaky little mult down here. Now, let's start making some noise. We'll build a kick drum. For that, I'm going to use the filter, make it self-oscillate by turning up the resonance, and I'll turn it up here on the mixer. You can hear that sub coming through, but this acts as our pitch. So we're going to turn that into a kick drum. For that, I'm going to use one of these envelopes to trigger the pitch modulation to make it a kick drum. So we flick this switch, then these envelopes are triggered by that clock. Turn up the ADSR modulation. And we've got kind of a nice clean 808 style kick drum. But we're going to take it up a notch. We're going to go take this output of the filter and run it through the preamp. Now, the preamp you would ordinarily use to plug in a guitar or something and bring it up to line level, but you can also just use it as an overdrive and it sounds badass. So that's what we're going to do. Take the output, take it back to the mixer, crank up this gain. So this is on 10 times gain, but it also has 100 and 1,000. So it's just adding a good weight to it. Let's try 100. More gnarly. If we want to go crazy, we can go to 1,000. Instant hardstyle kicks. Not really what I'm going for, but I am going to leave it on 1,000, so we've got that energy on tap. Cool. Just going to find a nice spot. Okay, cool. I'm going to leave it there for the moment. So next thing we're going to do to make this more of a sequence is generate some complex modulation to send to it. To do that, I'm going to take 2 VCOs to this switch and then send them to the filter. So let's grab this sawtooth output, take it to the switch input 1. Let's grab this pulse output, take it to switch input 2. And let's take the output of the switch to the filter. Just this second modulation input here, and slowly turn that up. And probably craziness will ensue. So both of these VCOs are on the switch here. They're on keyboard, which means they're in audio rate mode. You can turn them to LFO rate mode as well, which is probably what I'm going to do because this is cool in its own way, but it's not what I'm going for. So change them both to LFO and we should be able to get something a bit more rhythmic. Here's where you just got to hunt around for a bit and find the sweet spot. You change the tunings of these to just get it sitting nicely and where it feels good. quite liking that with the gain turned up, but it's way too aggressive for me. I kind of like deeper, darker sounds. So I'd like to filter it, but I'm already using this filter to make a kick drum, so I can't use that filter. Fortunately, there is a sneaky second filter on this synth. It's just not called a filter. So we've got a lag processor down here. You ordinarily use a lag processor to add glide to a CV melodic sequence. So instead of like a stepping note change, it'd be like more of a subtle glide. Hopefully that makes sense with my little hand motions. But all a lag processor is a simple low-pass filter. So we can actually use it for audio purposes as well. So I'm going to take the output from the preamp and run it through this lag processor to just get that high end to calm down a bit. Back into the mixer. I will turn that up again. Yeah. No lag. It's pretty close to where it was. If I start introducing lag, oh, we can't see. There we go. Start introducing lag and it acts like a low pass filter. So I quite like it about, I still want that kind of weight and character of the signal to come through. Yeah, that's feeling good to me. So here is probably where I would stop usually. I would sample this into my DAW, find a couple of bars that I like and stitch them together, or cut them up and just find bits and pieces that I like. But for the purpose of this video, let's push this as far as we can. Okay, so let's grab this VCO. Let's grab the sine output. We haven't used a sine yet. And we'll take it to the VCA and we'll do something with it. And we can just turn up this slider on the mixer and we should get the VCU. Oh, yeah, turn it up here too. There you go. So we've got a droning oscillator. Not very helpful. We can, let's figure out something to do with it. So we could, ordinarily, if I had a sequencer, I would probably send a melodic sequence to it and make a melody. But sequences are against the rules today. So what I'm going to do instead, well, we could send this sample and hold output to it. Oh, actually, we don't even need a patch cable for that. We can just turn up this slider. So that will be a synced but totally random modulation source. And I don't mind this kind of thing in like kind of a 50s sci-fi context, a bit of spring reverb. But I don't find it especially musical. It's a bit just bleep bloopy. So I don't know, I'm gonna figure out something else. Let's turn that off. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll go for something a bit more rhythmic and abstract. So we haven't used this envelope here yet. So we'll grab a patch cable from that output and take it to one of the modulation inputs on the VCO, turn it up. We'll have a tweak around with the release time and attack time. This envelope's being triggered by the clock, so it will be synced to the tempo. I don't mind that. It's simple but effective, but also it's just kind of relentless. It'd be cool if it could come in and out, like with a sidechain. And that's actually a possibility because of this guy and this guy. So let's do that. So when we took this filter output to the preamp, it also automatically routed it through this envelope follower. You can see it's normal to there. So an envelope follower, we'll turn that up. An envelope follower is basically listening to this signal and making a signal that follows its amplitude. So it'd be like, yeah, something like that. Hopefully that makes sense. But if we flip that over, we could then get a sidechain effect when we apply that modulation to the VCA on our second signal. So we've got an inverter down here in this voltage processor. Make sure that's turned up. And we'll take that flipped signal and take it to the VCA, turn it up, turn this up. Hopefully it should poke through every now and again. Let's turn this down. Yep, oh, there it is. There we go. So that's sounding pretty good to me. Give it a bit of reverb. We could even add a bit of noise to that second signal, because you've got two inputs at this VCA, and then give it a bit of top-end sizzle. Now with the reverb, a little less volume. Tune this down a bit. Not too far. Damn, listen to that bottom end there. So here's the part of the video where I forget to talk because I start to get lost in the patch. But look, I love this kind of stuff. I really, really enjoy modular and semi-modular synths. It's just so hands-on and it's so fun just finding your way around these circuits and messing with voltage and sound in ways that you're just not able to on other synths. All right, guys, that's it from me today. I hope that's given you some ideas on how you can go about digging deeper into a 2600 ARP style synth. If you've come up with your own way to generate a sequence with a 2600, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Till next time, peace out.